Thanks for what you do with your podcast and all the rest. You're doing a great job. Hope everybody keeps tuning in. You get a lot of good info, a lot of insights, understandings of how to get strong, how to stay strong, how to use your strength.
You do a great job, dude. You make things better than they are in real life, I think.
If you don't follow Massenomics, y'all do it. Social media, website, everything.
Massenomics.
Yeah. Welcome to Massenomics, the world's strongest podcast. Find us on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at Massenomics. Make sure you go visit Massenomics.com. There you'll find the rest of our powerful content. While you're there, check out our store and buy yourself some of that sweet Massenomics gear.
All right, welcome everyone to episode 145 of the world's strongest podcast, the Massenomics podcast. The two best hosts in the world are here again today. What's your name?
Oh, my name?
Yeah.
My name's Tommy. It's still Tommy.
Still Tommy underscore D, and Tanner's here. What did you see in a Reddit thread the other day when people were talking about powerlifting-ish podcasts?
Yeah. Going through. There was just a topic in the powerlifting subreddit. Hop in there once in a while, and someone was asking for best powerlifting podcasts, which don't even bother wasting your time asking Reddit. We have written an article about that, and it comes up as number one. Too.
Ask Google.
Yeah, just ask Google, and we'll take over from there. But if you did feel like asking Reddit, the community responded, and the very first comment, I believe, or the top-rated comment, was someone recommending the Massenomics podcast. So I can't remember whose name it was. Thank you for being a spreading the message, spreading the word, I should say.
Yeah.
But that was pretty cool. And then they even further down in the thread, someone said like, I miss like the Mark Bell's Powercast. Like I miss that. And then this guy's like, no, that's where Massenomics comes in. Like it's like
it wasn't someone made the quote where we took over where Mark Bell's Powercast left off.
Yeah, I'm gonna track this down right now because if you're gonna be spreading the word for us, you gotta get some credit here.
Reddit, I asked you about this the other day. You use Reddit quite a bit, or
So I'm one of the guys I've been like a pretty regular user for probably 5 or 6 years, and I've never had an account. Like I don't do that. Like a lot of people do. I mean, I don't think that's that uncommon. But I don't do the account thing. I just have like my threads that I like, and I'll go in and I'll just manually type them in.
You're not commenting.
I'm not commenting. No, I don't need to get involved in that part of it.
But I will. Is there arguing on Reddit?
Oh, yeah. I mean, yeah. Just like anywhere.
Yeah.
Especially depending on the thread you're in, there can be way more. But let's see.
The couple times I tried to use it, I didn't have good luck because I was apparently self-promoting Massenomics. And that doesn't go. I found out I didn't fully understand Reddit, and I found out that is policed pretty.
Yeah, that's kind of like there are pretty good rules in place about self-promotion. But yeah, the topic was podcast recommendations. Hi guys, was wondering if anyone had any recommendations for the best powerlifting or related topic podcasts. Drunk_Stormtrooper says here are the 5 that have stayed in my rotation: Jug Life, Massenomics, Peak Speak, Barbell Medicine, and Kabuki Strength. Which good recommendations.
I don't know what Peak Speak is.
I've never heard of
Barbell Medicine is Jordan something or other used to be involved in starting strength and broke off and did his own Barbell Medicine.
Okay, and if you don't know what Jug Life is or Kabuki Strength is at this point, you have bigger problems.
Peak Speak, I'm not familiar.
Yeah, and then underneath it from Oakland Raiders, whoever it was, comment was Massenomics is funny as hell. Great sense of humor from those guys. Same with Jug Life.
Nice. So who was the first commenter? What was his name?
Drunk_Stormtrooper.
Ooh.
And there was one more in here. So yeah, this guy, one guy's saying like Powercast early to mid years was a powerlifting and good gym culture podcast, which yes. And then Power Project equals self-help bullshit for the masses. I think most people would agree with that too. And it's more about selling shit. I think so. And then someone says, for sure, man, but sometimes the easygoing attitude with some lifting stories thrown in is nice to listen to. I do wish it was more lifting and less life coach feel feel good type of thing, referring to Mark Bell.
Not us.
Yep. And then Oakland Raiders comes in again and says Massenomics does a better job of what you're looking for then.
Yeah. I think that's pretty accurate.
I think so.
That's kind of what we do. You're not going to find a lot of self-help here, so if you're working on self-improvement, our best advice would be to not listen to us anymore.
Yeah, go somewhere else.
Yeah.
Mark Bell's got that covered, I guess.
We don't want you to get any
or
better.
hundreds or thousands of other people.
I
for that
don't.
matter.
I don't have any interest in you guys getting any better.
No. Might realize what you're doing with your free time and leave then.
Quit listening.
We got you right where we want you.
Talking about podcasts too, 50% Facts came out as a podcast, and that's kind of the reuniting of Jim McD and Silent Mike on.
Which is a little surprising.
Yeah.
I didn't know if that was ever going to happen.
And I've listened to 3 or 4. I think I've listened to 4 episodes. I think that's how many there's been, and it's a pretty interesting podcast. I like it. What I like about it is they spend the beginning of the podcast just bullshitting with each other, which I kind of like. That I mean,
it's really relatable.
Yeah, yes. And then they have a specific topic of the day. They've been doing some nutrition related ones, but it's going to be some different stuff about fitness and maybe some other stuff that's a little bit outside of fitness. And they've done one. They did an episode on each of the 3 macronutrients.
Yep.
So they did one on fats. So those two will kind of talk back and forth for 10-15 minutes about what they think they know about fats as a macro. And then they'll bring on an expert, say Lane Norton or Eric Helms or someone that's actually an expert in that field, and kind of ask them what they thought true. Is there other things they're not considering? Like, what are the real facts? So that's why it's 50% facts, because what they're talking about might be true, might not be, but then they do bring someone in that actually knows what they're talking about. Interesting, though, like I was telling you, that is on the old.
So that was what threw me off the most, is because I just saw this 50% facts pop up in my podcast feed.
And that's probably a lot of our listeners out there. You can relate to that. You'll be like, yeah, I don't know. I never thought I subscribed to that, and now I'm getting it on my feed.
I'm like, did I accidentally hit subscribe to a podcast? I don't remember.
Yeah.
And I usually like to keep the feed pretty clean, like the distractions out of there. So I go and click on it. I'm like, well, Jim McD, yeah, okay. And then I go through. I'm like, well, PowerCast episodes are in here.
Yeah, so it's on the old PowerCast feed. So if you were subscribed to the because Mark Bell's Power Project is not on
the PowerCast
feed. It was a separate new feed because Jim McD owned the prior feed. So when they made this podcast, they utilized that feed, which probably had a shit pot of subscribers
there has to be millions of subscribers on that over the years. Like how many people I could see now, like
hundreds of thousands for sure.
Oh yeah, it's probably less now than it was, just because it had been dormant for so long. I'm sure a lot of people deleted it out, but like me, I didn't even realize I still had it. I thought I deleted it and it was still in there, and then all of a sudden I'm getting notifications from it again.
Well, and I listened to 1 or 2 before I realized, like, I never did, like.
It just magically thought I wanted to listen to it.
Huh. I have searched in Apple Podcasts. I've searched like Strongman podcast or powerlifting podcast, and if you scroll a little way through, you will come across the Massenomics podcast within Apple Podcasts even. So need to get that a little higher.
Yeah, we shouldn't. We don't want any scrolling though. That's the problem.
We should probably be number 1.
Yeah, I mean our perfect review score so far.
Yeah.
That isn't helping enough, I guess.
Almost, and that we usually save this for the end, but you guys need to help us on the reviews. We're getting dangerously close to 100 reviews, and I'm pretty sure once we hit 100, that's when they make us the number 1.
Yeah,
on
it's
the
like
list.
It's kind of like YouTube. They send you a Chrome play button.
And ours
just
will be for
the podcast people do.
It'll be a Chrome quotation marks for the reviews that you guys are leaving us.
Something to look forward to.
We're also kind of getting close to 1,000 subscribers on YouTube too. So what do we get? What do we get? Do they send us one made out of plastic?
I think it's just a wood play button. Like
it's kind of a shitty one.
Congratulations, you did what most middle school kids do.
But you've been doing it for 5 or 6
Keep
years.
on fighting the good fight, guys. But that is one that is surprising that it keeps, like, I always get surprised when I go in there and it's like, oh, people do subscribe to this.
Yeah, it grows.
Yeah.
Slowly but surely.
It just shows, like, I never listen to podcasts on YouTube. Like, that's just not how I do
No.
it. But almost more people that I know or pretty much everyone that I know that listens to the Massenomics podcast listens to it that way.
I never listen to any that way either, but
No.
I use my phone all the time for
Yeah.
podcasts, and I just don't. I don't know if I hardly ever have done that of anyone's before. I've never watched one of ours on YouTube, I don't think.
I just go in there to see if there's any comments, and
Yeah.
there's always a couple.
There are a few people that always watch it on YouTube, though, I know, because they always comment on
Yeah.
the YouTube channel. There's a few people. There's I wish there's a couple. There's one guy out there that
the CPA.
the CPA strength or something like that. He waits
To say first.
yeah, because the YouTube version comes out Sunday night. The regular podcast version comes out like Monday morning, and he always waits. He always says he's waiting for the Sunday night one so he can be one of the first to listen to it, and he usually comments first. James Strickland also watches it on YouTube.
He is a frequenter of the
Yeah.
YouTube channel.
Swim Hack on Instagram. Only benches. That's probably the. Do you think that James is the strongest benching listener that we have?
You know, he's definitely in the top 20.
Yeah. Yes, because he's
Maybe.
I think maybe he's probably in the top 10 just by knowing that he's in like the top 10.
Just because he
the-
listens.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would say he's very close to the top, if
Yeah.
not at the top. I'd actually be a little shocked if he wasn't at the top.
I've seen Julius Maddox throw out a couple comments on Instagram and stuff before, so I don't know if we
Swim
just-
Hack has
yeah.
him just destroyed
Yeah.
in the or in the YouTube comment
That's
game.
true.
No,
That's true.
no competition there.
No, I did see something interesting on YouTube the other day. I didn't search this out; it just popped
Was
up.
it the conspiracy theory about 9/11?
I've watched most of those already. I pretty much tapped out on those. It was
Conspiracy theory about aliens?
Do you think that there's aliens?
Well, I mean, it'd be kind of weird to think that there's not. When you do there's like that formula, like the math for the number of galaxies out there, and you know what's there, 10,000 galaxies that we know about, and if each galaxy has I don't know, a couple 10,000 suns, and each one of those 10,000 suns has 10 planets around it. Well, then there's a billion planets out there,
Yeah.
and if 0.000001 of them has Earth
Life,
on it,
yeah.
then or has life on it, then that means there's thousands of planets with life.
Yeah.
So like that's where the numbers behind it get kind of
Yeah.
crazy.
It's crazy to think. That's not what I came across.
Oh,
though.
okay.
What I came across was I didn't even know what it was, but it was a picture of Larry and Thor lifting together. So I was like, this looks interesting. And it was one of Larry's really recent videos. I don't really watch his stuff on YouTube. I don't subscribe or anything, but I clicked on it and I ended up watching the whole. It was like 30 minutes long. I watched the whole thing, and it was. I don't know if you saw on Instagram, Larry.
Them
stoned
fighting gladiator
with
style.
pugil sticks. Yeah. Have you ever done pugil sticks?
haven't,
Did you
no.
know that those
I
are called
actually,
pugil
no, I
sticks?
did not.
Yeah.
If I didn't watch the video, I didn't know
Yeah.
what you're talking about right now.
Yeah.
I just think like the American Gladiator thing, when
Yeah.
they're hitting each other with the sticks.
Yeah. No, it was Larry did the stone to shoulder
Oh.
with the 303 pound
Is
stone.
that what it was? What was the one they had at the Arnold?
I don't know. I can't remember how much that one weighs. That's the Oddhaugen. That's like his.
Like, is it significantly heavier?
I think it's quite a bit heavier than
Like
that.
400?
I think it's close to 400,
Okay.
but I'm not sure. Don't quote me on that.
Yeah.
I
More than 300 though.
Yeah. Actually, good, interesting thing. We'll get. Actually,
Oh, the
that's one
events.
of our topics, and I probably have that written down. Maybe I didn't write down the weight of it on the stone to shoulder.
410.
410 pounds.
Okay, and the one Larry did was 300. I'm assuming that's the
303.
same stone, or
The same stone as what
like the Arnold will do the same stone this year as
Yes,
they did last
same
year.
stone as last year. So we'll get that teaser. We'll go over the events for the Arnold Strongman Classic in 2019 here, coming up in March. But no, so they were training together. And what was cool about this video, I don't really care that much about Larry because he puts his shit out all the time everywhere, and like you see it all. But with Thor, basically what you see is him doing just his PR
Training.
lift and his just training here. But it was cool. It was a 30-minute video, and Larry is now there for about 2 months to train with Hafthor, and it was a video like them basically from like the starting of a training session, warming up, and just like
Oh, so it was like a real behind the scenes.
yeah,
look.
and it was just those two chatting about what they're kind of Thor giving him advice, and they did squats before their workout was like 3 sets of triples on squats. They went up to like 590, 585, 595, and they both did 3x3, and then they did the stone to shoulder training. And it was just really interesting seeing Thor's
Yeah, you don't
training
you don't
day,
really get
you
a
know,
peek of that too
right.
often.
And they're talking about, like, Thor was just talking about what he likes to take for rest periods between sets and just kind of the progression of what he's got leading up to from now into the Arnold. So I just thought it was really interesting to see what Thor, because a lot of those strongmen coming up to a big contest, Thor puts out way more on Instagram than
He's
Brian Shaw
probably
does.
the most visible.
Right. But this is more interesting, like actually his plan of attack of how he's going about it. And but it was interesting seeing them do that stone to shoulder. Thor did do you remember at the Arnold?
Oh, they just.
I would say Thor and Brian, it wasn't their best event. Like that 410-pound stone was super hard for
And
those.
Brian Shaw have one, and it was
I don't-
very
he didn't
debatable.
get it, I don't-
Well, they gave
he
him the point.
did,
They gave the
yeah,
point, but I was
but,
gonna say he had one by the judges count,
Yeah.
and that was very generous
and
on
I
their
think
end.
Thor only got one or two too.
Yeah, it was. They weren't Mateus up there just
right.
throwing it around.
But it looked, even in training, it's not, that 303-pound one is not easy for, I mean, he can do it multiple times, but I think on his best set, he tried for either a triple or 4, and he quit on like the third one or something.
Yeah,
because
it's just so awkward. Like, you just got to feel like wrecked after a day of training that.
You could see both of those guys were getting so gassed. And then at the end, they used a lighter stone, and they did it back and forth, and they made it to like 5 reps, and Larry was
done.
Dead. I mean, like Thor was trying to get him to do one more, and Larry was like, no, there's no, he had to tap out because he was just so exhausted. And he made the comment afterward, he hasn't done anything for a while that makes him that tired.
Yeah. I'm sure it's complete training that's completely different than.
Yeah. And then after that, Thor had him practice yoke, and
oh, he did.
And
I wonder what Larry could do on a yoke. Like, that's
not very much after that because he was like hurt. You could tell he was gassed.
Yeah.
But it was interesting to see them training together, and I'll be curious to see a little bit more of that.
Yeah, for sure. I wonder do you think at the Strongman, Thor will have Larry in his corner up on, or I guess his guys. Well, he has like one or two guys on the stage with him, but the rest of his crew's in the crowd right there. Like,
well, so that's the timeline then. I guess when Larry said 7 or 8 weeks, he's going to be there up until when Thor comes back. For the Arnold, that's when Larry's going to come back.
Yeah,
and they will have been hanging out for 2 months, and they're both going to go to the Arnold. So probably, like, I would guess that they might get him in there on the action.
And I would assume even from last year to this year, like Larry being at the Arnold has to like just start to be to the point where like he gets swarmed.
Yeah,
like,
right.
He's like ascending past that point of just like strong power lifter guy to like. He's got the aesthetics.
Bradley Martin.
Yeah, way more of like a Bradley Martin. Yeah,
or Thor.
Yep.
Thor gets like. The line to see him is ridiculous.
Yeah.
Because he's the mountain,
Yes. Yeah. And you're always going to have that when you've done movie work.
But I think Larry will be getting in that area as well.
Mm-hmm. That'd be weird if he wasn't.
Yeah. I think those two are both thinking about stopping by the Massenomics booth.
I think they said they're going to do like a signing for like 12 hours. They said we'll just be there all day.
They said anyone, I think they were coming on Sunday, and they said anyone that comes by Friday and Saturday and buys a few shirts, they're going to make sure to, personally stop and chat with.
Yeah.
So,
I mean, they just mentioned it really casually, so I don't know, like, if it's in stone.
I mean, we know Thor. We've talked to him a few times. I told his dad.
He said, guys, I'm looking forward to talking to you again at the Arnold like we do every year.
I've congratulated his dad on Thor's performance well done before. You could say that we're close with his family.
Part of the family.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's how it went.
Yeah. Maybe we want to talk about the Arnold events then.
Yeah, we might as well since we're on the topic here. So is this the correct order you have on the sheet here?
Yes.
When were these announced?
I think Jan Todd sent this out to a select group of people, and I got someone got me the info.
Oh, okay.
It went out to the competitors and some of the media and stuff like that, and so I don't know if it's been like announced publicly by them completely yet or not.
So like a true journalist, you don't disclose your sources, right?
No, I just don't.
You will go to prison for this?
No, it came from Kale Beck from Starting Strongman. So I think he got sent the info, and I think he's put it out. And I'm sure he's got it. You could check it out on Starting Strongman.
I hadn't seen these yet, so this is really interesting for me.
Yeah.
But so this is the order, though.
This is the order.
Okay. Do we want to say what we're starting out with?
Yeah. Yes.
Number 1, first event of the Arnold Strongman Classic will be the Elephant Bar Deadlift.
Yep.
And right away, my thought is they're doing this with the idea that the guys are freshest, so
I
that they're
think
going to
so.
set some like world records.
Yes.
They're not like beat up.
Yes, that is definitely part of it. The other reason why I don't completely understand how this works yet, but that individual event is open to more than just the 10 competitors of the
Oh, it
Strongman
is.
Classic, because I think they're putting up $50,000 for anyone.
Freaked me out. we got
Tommy's smoke
we
detector.
got, my
just-
smoke detector might be falling off the wall here, and woo! Thought there's animals crawling out of the
Did
ceiling.
you check the batteries in that smoke detector?
Actually,
lately?
that one. Why I actually took that down the other day, and I think
Okay.
that's why it's falling down.
Yeah.
I can't remember why I took it down though.
We'll never
but-
know. But I think they're putting up $50,000 to anyone that can break Eddie Hall's 500 kilograms.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
So do we know? Are there any other people like?
I don't
in the
know.
hunt for this
I
thing?
was trying to think of who the hell outside of the guys that are going to be in there anyways could even come up
Well,
to.
because immediately sumo guys are out.
Yep.
That's not allowed.
Yep.
It's almost this is probably like the one event where like being short actually is really helpful, because with the elephant bar,
There's
like,
a lot of whip.
there's a lot of whip on
bar.
that thing. But
Yeah.
man, yeah,
I don't know. I was trying to brainstorm of who would come in there that's capable of that. You know, in powerlifting of guy. It's not going to be powerlifters, but I was just thinking if there's anybody
what I-
there, probably not KK this year. He probably won't be competing.
I think that's the safe
But I was honestly just thinking of conventional pullers and it's like Steve Johnson, Forsaken Warrior,
But
has
even
pulled
then,
over
you-
900. You
but-
know,
well, you
never
gotta get-
pulled on a bar like that ever before.
Yeah, we got to get 1100.
Yeah,
You're-
right.
You're not even.
Chris Wiest has done over 900. There's nobody. Benedict Magnuson is the one guy
Well, yeah,
that I
but
could
that's
think of.
been how long?
Yeah,
Like
right.
even if you could pull 1,000, you're still 10% off.
Right.
And at like 10% better at 1,000 is
Yeah.
it's still a long ways.
Benedict Magnuson was literally the only person that I could even think of but not that I know every strongman
Yeah.
but I mean, Shaw and Thor are in there already. Those
Yep.
are the two guys, and Shaw, Thor, JF Carone, and Jerry Pritchett. Those guys are all in the competition, or will be, by the time it comes. So, I just don't know outside of those are the guys that could do it. I think that could even be in the running.
Yeah, I'm just trying to look at like who has big deadlifts, and I just don't.
Eddie Hall is not compete not anywhere near that shape. Like he'd be the other person, I suppose. But he's nowhere in that.
Yeah, I'm just totally out
area
of
now.
I'm completely out of ideas for who.
So I don't think there's going to be anyone not in the competition that's going to come and do it that I know of. Granted, I might not be up on all those potential people, but the question would be: do you think Jerry Pritchett, Brian Shaw, or Half Thor, or maybe JF Carone? Do you think any of those guys would have a chance at it? Last year,
What did Thor have?
1,041.
41.
So he's 60 pounds short.
I mean, his training has been going really good.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Oh, well, that's. I guess
Brian Shaw. He. Jerry
the 50
Jerry Pritchett had the prior record 2 years ago, so if
Yeah.
he comes in healthy, he's probably about 60, 70 pounds off of it on his best too.
Yep. The thing that's hard to say, like this year with the 50 grand, yeah, there might be some guys that could go for broke on it, but like not one of them is one to be like, oh, I'm just gonna go 40 pounds above everyone else. Like they're
Right.
always just chipping each other to
Because the people that are in the competition, their goal is still
well, to win
to win the
thing.
competition. If you're
Yeah.
Brian Shaw or Thor, you're want to win the big.
Yeah,
the-
like
the
I
whole-
don't know if let's say like it is there for Thor on that day. I'm not sure if he does it with the idea
Right.
that like that could possibly screw the rest of the competition for him.
Yeah.
Like I don't know if he gets that and then has to withdraw from the rest of the competition for an injury or a strain of some kind.
Yeah.
I don't know if he considers that a win even.
Right. The other thing, the format of the deadlift is changing this year. In the past, it was a rising bar.
Yep, round system now.
So now this year they're going, and the idea with that is to give them
sufficient rest.
sufficient rest because they want to push the max weights up on this.
Yep.
Because towards the end there, it was Shaw and Thor kind of following each other.
Well, and even in the beginning, it was the lighter guys
right.
just going.
You know,
back to back to
Mateus
back
is
too.
like does 3 in a row
Yep.
and is out because he has to, starts at 751 or
'Cause
whatever.
You can only deadlift close to 900 pounds. You know.
Yeah. So that'll be. That's one of the, is that your favorite event or I mean
From a watching perspective,
Yeah.
yeah, that is the best event
Yeah.
to watch. Like
So-
the crowd gets super into it. Everyone gets a like everyone that's been involved in fitness understands a deadlift. Where
Yeah.
like some of these other things, like the Husafell stone, like things like that doesn't relate to
right.
almost anyone.
Right.
You know.
We put a post out on our Instagram the other day that said what do you like better, the elephant bar deadlift or the old Hummer tire deadlift? And there's
There was some back and forth on
a lot of split decision on that. And someone brought up a good point. I think powerlifters will like the elephant bar deadlift better.
Yep.
And a lot of strongmen, like true strongmen competitors, like the Hummer tire deadlift better because it's a bigger spectacle.
Yes.
But if you're a powerlifter, you like to look at it because it's like,
Well,
that's like powerlifting.
It's closer to people
Yeah.
being able to solve the whole debate
Yeah.
of who is the best deadlifter
Yeah,
of all time.
right.
So will they let him wear suits for it this year? Do you know?
No.
Oh, okay.
Just
So
straps.
that's still
As far as I understand, I didn't see anything about suits, and that's always been a rule there that
Yeah.
No suits. So yeah, and that'll be early Friday afternoon, I think. And then there's another event. The next event is also Friday on the main. That's on the main stage where it's always been. The next event is on the main stage too. And what is the second one?
when you say the main stage, you mean just
Where we have watched
Okay,
before,
okay.
and I only say that because one of these is not going to be.
Oh,
a
it's
couple
not.
of these are not going to be
Oh,
in that spot.
Okay, so yeah, the next one is the Husafell stone.
Yeah, in which that's a new event. And what's the weight
I
of
mean,
this?
new for the Rogue stage.
yeah, new for
not
new for the Arnold.
as far as strongman goes.
Right.
Old
Yeah,
event, but
right.
Friday afternoon, max distance around a track, 409 pounds. So that must be
Yeah.
the one that they're moving somewhere then, or is this the track on the stage?
That's there's like a track. I say that with quotations. I don't really know what that means,
Okay.
but there's something on the stage where they're gonna
I mean,
have
the
to
stage is only like 40 feet
right,
across. so
right. But I imagine they're gonna walk either back and forth or in an oval. I don't
Yeah.
know what the track technically is. So and what's the weight for?
409.
Don't quote. I think as far as these guys go, they're gonna go for a little
Yeah,
while with
that
that
doesn't
because
seem
I've done
like
a
absurdly
Husafell before that was over 3. I mean, I did piss poor at it, but like for my weight class in a strongman I've competed, it was. I think we did 3 or 350 or 375 maybe even. I mean, it was super heavy for me, but like for these guys, I don't think 400. It depends on what the Husafell actually is like too, and whether
Yeah.
I don't know if it's a natural. Maybe
spray
it's
it up with some Pam, and it's a whole new ball game.
I don't know if they're. It's a natural stone that they made. Probably, I'm
Yeah, it
guessing
gets-
knowing
gets
them,
a little
it's
more squirrely
yeah,
on ya.
Yeah. But that's new. What do you think about the idea of watching that? You know what it's like there.
I think the success of that one is completely dependent on how good they do with the weight. Because if it's
Yeah.
one of those things where it looks really easy,
Yeah.
well, that sucks. And if it's one of those things where it's so hard that everyone's dropping it after 10
Yeah.
feet, well, that's not very fun to watch
Right.
either. So it has to be something that, like, the worst person's, like, maybe going down, like, once, and the
Yeah.
best guy is, maybe the best guy goes back and forth 4 times
Yeah.
and just makes everyone look stupid. But I think that's going to be
Yeah.
what it depends on.
What I think what would really ultimately make that one exciting is it comes down to the best guys and how hard they struggle and how close they are to like besting each
Yep.
other. If
does it become a game of inches
yeah,
now?
if Martins goes out there and like does this really gutsy one and does the best one and makes it really far, and then Mateus is up next and he like just like barely by the skin of his teeth goes another 4 feet or something.
Yep.
That's gonna be
Or
pretty
if
fun.
Mateus comes out third and just kills it, and then
Right.
everyone else does it, it's like, oh,
yeah,
we got.
yeah, right.
I also think the thing there, like the theatrics of the stone itself,
Yeah.
like how big and crazy it looks. I think
I
that's
think
going
they're
to play
have
into it a
that
little
done
bit.
well because
Yeah.
that's kind of like what they do well there. So I believe that'll be it'll be a cool looking stone.
Mm-hmm.
I'm pretty sure. I haven't seen it yet, but the next event. So that'll be did I write that down? Well, that next
Yep,
event's
this next
Saturday.
one- yes,
the
Saturday.
first day of Saturday.
So event number 3.
First event of Saturday, and this is a new one.
Yeah, Wheel of Pain.
Yeah, have you seen anything about this one?
No, I mean,
anything?
is it like just like a
It is like a replica, I believe, of the Conan the Barbarian, where Arnold.
Oh, like
plays.
it looks like that one.
It is. I wrote down the specs. This one is not on the main stage because it will not fit on the main stage.
Okay.
This will be in the where the amateurs go, kind of where you first walk in the expo. It's going to be there because it's what did I say the dimensions?
So it's 38 feet wide and 35 feet tall.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
That thing is going to be like a spectacle. Yeah, for sure.
And it
like you will see that thing because there's not really like huge booths because that area is so cleared out.
Right. And it has, I don't know how many different what do you want? Like the poles coming out from the center that you push. I don't know if it has like 4 or 6 or 8 or 5 or how many of those.
Almost like the spokes of the wheel, kind of.
Yeah, and the way it works is they're at different heights, and there's just a time limit on that one. So I can't. Did I write down the time limit at all? Or?
No.
Okay. So they have so long to see how far they can make it around.
Do whatever you can.
Yes, and it's literally like this is going to be like a brand new event, like not just for the Arnold, but none of these guys have ever really done something quite like this.
Yeah.
And they're at the spokes are at different heights, and they just choose whatever one they think they're going to be able to leverage against.
Yeah.
And it's like, you're allowed to like push your back against it, or like I said, you can do anything.
Just move the
It's
thing.
literally going to be like, move this somehow, figure out how to move it.
I like that because to me
That's-
that like is the spirit of Strongman right
Yes,
there. Like, let's get you
that's
something
the thing.
really weird and awkward, and
Right.
just let strength will
Right.
prevail here.
Right.
You know,
It's not it's not Brian Shaw knowing like this perfect tactic.
Yeah,
and,
yeah.
And him and Half Thor getting these replicated to a T to be able to train with them for a year. It's literally
it's not like the closest deviation to a powerlifting movement.
Right.
Like,
But just my guess, I mean, this isn't going out on a limb because, of course, they're good at everything, but you think the 400-pound plus guys, Brian and Thor, are going to be able to...
it seems like it. Yeah. Usually with this stuff, like weight moves weight.
Yeah. That one will be cool, though, and like we said, I'd have to look at our map, but I wonder how far we are away from that because it would be...
That would be a really cool one to
Yeah.
like get away for.
Yeah.
I'd love to see that. I'm also curious like how much of a cluster that will like generate with people trying to watch that thing.
Yeah.
Because even people
That's-
that aren't interested, it's just gonna look so ridiculous that you're gonna have to stop and see what's going on.
Yes. Or even like where the guys are going to come out of, because
Yeah.
on the main stage they have their own private area. Here they are going to have to walk through the expo to get into the center.
At least there's bleachers though.
Yeah, there is
Like,
bleachers,
I mean,
yeah.
technically that area probably seats more people anyways than
It probably seats more.
but the standing thing does create the
Yeah.
issue because now you got to look over people.
Yeah.
So. I'll be curious. Yeah,
Yeah.
that one.
I'm excited for that one.
Yeah, that one, and should be really fun to watch, like on the recap videos too.
Yeah. So what's not in there? We got a couple more to cover, but what's not in there is the frame up the ramp.
Yep. Which I think they've done that one long enough now.
I think they've almost done that every year since
Yeah.
it's been a competition. So I'm excited for that one to not be in there.
Yeah,
kinda,
which that one is fun to watch.
Yeah,
like the
it
guys that are
is.
really good at it,
Right.
it's fun. They just blow
like
everyone
when
else
Jerry
away.
Pritchett
Just-
runs up. The
he
thing,
does.
you're like,
It makes it
"Holy
look like
shit,
nothing."
those other guys couldn't even pick it up. You know.
So that one has been fun to watch, but because I have seen that every year now, I'm cool with seeing something different.
Yeah. Then the next event, which would also be Saturday, is
Austrian Oak.
yeah. So I think that's been a staple in there too. The year we went, that was the
So
final
will this
event.
be? Do you know? Will this be on?
That'll be back onto the normal
regular stage?
Yeah.
Okay.
And the light. What are the weights of the two different log?
385 for the small one, and then 430 for the big one, and that's the same as always, isn't it?
Yeah, I think actually though I think the weight of that log changes a little bit depending on how.
Within 10 to 20-ish pounds.
Yeah,
So,
but
mean,
I think
the big
there's
one,
been other-
Austrian's always over 400.
Yeah. But it's been even heavier. They've listed it at like 450 before. I
really?
think in other years. Yeah.
I suppose when Big Z's there, you gotta pump it
Yeah.
up.
Right. And you get to pick whichever. It's like a trump log. You know, if you get the bigger one, it's better than anything on the lighter one. It's a cool. I mean, that log is ridiculous.
It is.
Like,
It is, and you gotta have some type of overhead thing.
Yeah,
right. You know,
right,
like,
right.
So, or some pressing of some kind. So,
Yes.
Yeah, I'm cool with that too. So then, event number 5, Stone to Shoulder, and that's at the bodybuilding.
Yeah,
event.
that's when the year we went, it was the Austrian Oak was the main the is it Belgrand or something like that?
Yeah, it's something like whatever that huge room is.
Yeah. But this is the Stone to Shoulder event, which was new to the Arnold last year, and it was a really I think it was a cool choice putting that one in for that
I'm
final
actually a little
event.
shocked that they are putting that as the
Yeah,
final event.
yeah.
Like, I can see some people being like, you put a stone on the stage.
Yeah, yeah.
But
the crowd went pretty nuts last
they
year.
did. They did.
Like, that was maybe the most outside of the elephant bar deadlift when
Oh,
Thor did that.
Yeah, outside, like if Thor wasn't going to step up and like have the deadlift that he did,
Right.
The stone to shoulder completely was the most memorable thing for me outside of that.
Right. It'll be fun to see if some of these guys got better at it than last year because you know
It'd be really shocking if they didn't, because
Yeah.
some of the guys looked like fools on it.
yeah
I mean, and a 400-pound stone will make you look like a fool in a hurry.
when you're trying to put it on.
It
your
also
shoulder.
did birth some very good memes, though.
Yes.
Like,
our good friend Dimitar Sabatinov.
did you see the one the other day? I think I tagged you, and it was him holding the rock, and it's like it over Dimitar's face. It says "me looking for tasty bugs," and then what's his name in the background?
Damn it.
I can't think of his name. And
Yeah,
over
the
him,
spotter there,
yeah,
the-
over him, the label was
yeah.
"My friends questioning my mental health." Like, that is so awesome.
He likes Massenomics too, and I can't think of his name, but yeah.
So it would be really awesome, actually, just to get photographs of that, just to be
Yes.
like, "You're the first one on the meme."
Yeah.
Like still, just whatever.
I'm not positive if Dimitar's qualified yet or not, though. I don't know I should have ran through the list and see
Well,
who
they
is.
could at least like extend a guest card to him.
Yeah. Tiebreaker if there's a tie at when this is all said and done.
On all the events, you're saying?
Yeah, the
Okay.
total score, the tiebreaker would be the Louis Cyr circus dumbbell.
Oh, I like that too.
Yeah.
So yeah, really. Okay, this year they got rid of the weight over bar bag for height or whatever
yeah.
they call it. So they got rid of
Yeah.
that one. What
And the
else?
ramp.
And the ramp, yeah.
And they brought in the Wheel of Pain and the Husafel.
Yep. I like the lineup. I like
Yeah.
the lineup.
I bet after this year they'll swap out the elephant bar deadlift again.
I would
bet
think
they
so
will.
too. Well,
'Cause-
that's what's so hard is like it's such an iconic thing already,
know.
but like you
But
also don't want it to
it'll-
get stale either.
Right, if they'll be away from the Hummer tires long enough that going back to it will kind of be a
Yeah,
thing again,
and,
though, too.
and like, well, I mean, can you still do a Hummer though? Those don't exist.
That's true.
Like-
and are those even really Hummer tires? Because those tires look
They were
bigger.
enormous. I know. You could. I mean, I guess you
They
just. change it
definitely
to-
weren't off of an H3.
No. You would know, Tanner.
Well, I've also driven Humvees, and I'm pretty quite sure that they did not have tires that
were
freaking big.
that were 5 feet tall. Yeah, it'd be cool just to see them put a different. Well, they always put them on a platform, anyways, though, right? Like
When
so
they do the
weren't-
Hummer,
yeah,
so
they
they're
weren't
not like
doing a 5-inch pole.
yeah,
But
yeah.
I think they could find anyone that would be willing to throw their marketing dollars behind something.
What about an elephant bar Hummer tire deadlift?
Okay, now we're talking here.
Yeah.
Or, is it okay? They used to have things. This would just get so hard. I was gonna say because they used to always have like the yoke carries where they have like little scooters on the sides of it, you know.
Yeah, or like a dirt bike.
But it gets really hard to like
yeah.
add another scooter and not
Yeah,
jump so many
right,
pounds. So yeah,
right.
that wouldn't work either.
Oh, there is no that. Also, this year there's no yoke.
Oh yeah.
I don't know if there was a yoke last year or not. Was
But
there?
wasn't there always 6 events before? Because didn't they usually do 2 at the finals? It wasn't
I don't
just
know. When we went, it was just the log.
Was that really all
yeah,
it was?
It was just the log. Yeah.
God, in my head they did more than that, but
So they do 2 on Friday and 3 on Saturday.
no. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
The third one is that's the same day.
Really testing my brain power over
Yeah.
here. 2 and 3. That is still 5.
So that's the Arnold Strongman.
Yeah. Kind of sucks.
Who do you think's gonna win? Well, maybe.
Well, I
we'll
don't
do
even
it
know
on-
who the
yeah,
competitors are this
yeah.
year. Like, have they released a final lineup even?
There isn't a final lineup yet because they still have the American. This year, the last final qualifier is the American Arnold. This is the world Arnold Strongman
Well, and
Classic.
So this Arnold one, it's on, isn't it the Santa Monica Pier
Yeah,
in
something like
a
that.
week or something?
Yeah.
It's like end of January-ish.
And there's still some guys that are on the bubble that could or could not make it.
And there's
depending
some
on
big names at that thing.
Yeah,
Like if you're in
that's
the area,
because they want to make sure to, it's a point system, and like Jerry Pritchett wants
so if you're
to
on
make
the
sure
bottom
that-
end of the points, you
yeah,
gotta like.
yeah,
Okay, yeah. If you're in the area over there, like that's a really good show to go to. Like, I'm
Yes.
sure that'd be awesome to watch.
yeah, for sure.
Maybe we should just pick up a quick ticket and head down there, Tanner.
It wouldn't cost much, I'm sure.
Be nothing.
Yeah, nothing for us. As many lift shorts as we've sold.
That's right. Yep, we were doing it for a reason. Yeah, so, I mean, you got to say right away that, like, you're assuming Thor is going to be in the top 3.
Yeah.
Brian Shaw, maybe?
Yeah.
I don't know. Is he, like, on the downward slide? I don't know. It's hard to say.
I don't know.
It seems
I
like,
don't think he is. I think he'll. I don't know. My thing
unless
is,
he has
I
a
think he's
disaster of
gonna-
a day,
yeah.
it seems like why wouldn't he
Yeah.
finish in the top 3? Mateus is like,
And
you gotta
Martins.
yeah,
is
you
in
got to
there this
assume
year.
that they're going to be right there too.
Jerry Pritchett, if he's healthy and capable. I don't know. I think Brian Shaw is going to surprise some people. I mean, I like cheering for the Americans still.
Yeah.
Like, that gets lost a little bit in Strongman.
does.
I think people are just like, Thor.
Yeah.
And I'm like, yeah, he's from Iceland, and Brian Shaw's from fucking America, where we're from. Like, I kind of think about that sometimes still, and I'm like, well, I want to see the American guy do good. But I would say Americans don't necessarily think that way, right? Like,
I think people
if you
just take
polled
a
people,
pretty,
I think people like Thor better.
Yeah, and
almost
I
anymore.
think for what you just said there, like that's pretty low on a lot of people's radar,
Yeah.
like the
Right,
country
right.
allegiance on the whole
But
thing.
when they walk out and get their name announced, they're all carrying their
and
country's flag.
and that's when it like really hits you, like, oh yeah, I'm kind of not rooting for the home
Yeah,
team here.
right.
Like if you're not rooting for Brian Shaw,
right,
you know?
right. So I kind of want to see him do well, especially now. He's been off of the top now.
Now
so
he
it's
kind of
now
is
it's
the
easier
underdog
to,
again. Yeah,
yeah.
and it is always, to me, way more fun to root for an underdog
agree.
than like the favorite.
Yeah.
Where every other year is like, well, Brian Shaw's the technician, the one that gets it every year.
Right.
So, yeah, I guess I wouldn't have a problem seeing him win.
One note that we're on that, everyone was making the big deal that Thor this year won Worlds, won the Arnold, and won Europe's, and he's like the only guy to do those all in 1 year. And someone said, you don't think those years when Brian won both the Arnold and World's Strongest Man, he might not have won Europe's Strongest Man had he been up?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, it's like
It's like, well, he would have done that too had he, been competing in Europe's Strongest Man those years.
yeah, just depending on what year Eddie was
right.
like really
Yeah.
ready to go. But outside of that, like, yeah, who was gonna beat him at?
Right. I mean, he was crushing everyone and everything for a while there. So,
Valid point.
yeah, that's that.
Since we're on the topic, this is kind of almost breaking news today a little bit. With the whole Rogue Strongman and everything. Rogue apparently sued Titan today,
Yeah.
which kind of is like, oh, it took that long.
It's like, what were you waiting for?
like we've kind of been saying it since day one. Like, there is the whole, well, I mean, it's a yoke, it's a whatever, but it's also like the logos, like it's all in the exact same.
Like they make the pin the identical color,
Yeah.
put the logo in the exact same spot. Like
it's not
it's
even
a copy.
Like even the
Yeah.
stylist, like not even the
Yeah.
functional things, even the stylistic things
is
are
a copy.
exactly the same.
They are making it to look like
I mean,
the
it
same
was
product,
just like
yeah.
if someone said, "Well, here's the blueprint. Do what you can."
Yeah.
It's like, well, our welders aren't as good, but this is what we came up with. And it's like, yeah,
Yep.
it looks pretty much the same.
Yep.
So yeah, it's a little. And then the one I didn't see, or you had this on the story or post of even their logo. It uses
Yes.
the exact same font.
Yeah, the same font,
the same
color
color.
scheme. I think they flipped the white and the red though. Like
Oh,
where
was that what
Rogue
it
was
was?
white
Okay.
and
But I'm like, okay, like you could have done anything like font wise
Yes.
there. Like, why would you make
Yes.
it that similar?
right.
So
But we don't know much.
yeah, we don't.
else
Really, I don't
on that
really know.
yet,
I didn't
but
take the time to really research it much, and
I'm guessing Titan's not super excited about it though, because I imagine Rogue can lawyer up pretty hard if they really want to.
Yeah, I would think that Titan just doesn't have a lot to stand on.
Yeah.
I mean, to even the uneducated, it's
Yeah.
like, well, this is really like the exact same
Yeah,
thing.
and maybe legally though that won't. Maybe
Yeah, I'm
They-
not. I'm
you
not.
know,
I'm not a law
right,
guy, so I don't
right.
really know the ins and outs of it. So maybe they are fine. But,
yeah.
Um.
It'll be curious to see if anything does happen or
Yeah.
if they end up having to pull any of the products that they're making, which overall I don't think is good for people, because I think it's good. Whether some of their Titan stuff is shit or not, I think it's good for there to be the
Well, yeah, and that's the whole thing.
competition
Is like
and
it
the
is
lower
nice
price.
because it kind of keeps people honest
Yeah,
about things.
for
But
sure.
that's where you want to be like, well, Titan, like just
do it a
if
little
you had,
different.
If you had all the systems in place, like, would it really be that hard for you to have like an engineer sit down for a little bit one day and like
Yeah.
do something different
Instead of just completely reverse
But
engineering
maybe that's
Rogues,
where the
like-
whole issue is,
Yeah.
and maybe that's why Rogue makes all this money because they actually put the time into R&D.
Right.
Like I don't think
And
Titan
then
has
that's
like
why then they have to charge a premium.
yeah, and I
price,
don't think Titan has an R&D department. Like,
Right. Well, they have.
I mean,
a guy-
if they
yeah.
do, they don't have anything to show
Yeah.
for it, you know.
Right.
And there is always that thing of being first to something. Like when you are the
Yep.
original, you kind of do get to determine what you want to set on the price. But
Right.
yeah, it is. I hope you don't want to see like them get completely wiped off the map.
Yeah.
It's just like maybe they say, okay, yeah, we won't sell it in that way anymore, and we'll actually come out with original designs. And
Right.
even if they have to mark them up 10%, they'll still be very competitive in pricing. So
Yep. I agree.
yeah, I'm sure that will not be any quick decisions though. This will probably go on for months and months, if not years and years.
Yep. Exactly.
And then while we're saying the name Titan, we can segue this right into
Good.
this little TV show called
Yeah.
The Titan Games.
Yeah. From Dwayne Johnson. Ever heard of him?
Dwayne The Rock Johnson?
Yeah.
Maybe.
You played football at the University
Oh yeah,
of Miami.
yep. That's where it's coming back to me.
Yeah.
Yep,
Yeah.
that guy. Yeah. So this show has been. I think anyone that's a fan of strength sports on Instagram feels like this show's been like thrown in their face like
Yeah.
nonstop. One, because you probably follow The Rock already, and like they did get some like strength Instagram personalities recruited for the thing too.
Yes.
And I don't think that's by accident. I think all this stuff is very calculated. Like we're probably not just picking some random dude that doesn't have an Instagram account to be on our show because you can't do the promotion for us.
They definitely, the Instagram followers, the social media presence was a factor. for
Absolutely.
them.
Like I'm sure they could have actually, if they just were like, we're just looking for straight up animals, they probably could have found better competitors. But, you know, there's a certain thing today about having a successful show. Marketing is a huge part of it. And if you have people that already have audiences built in
Yeah.
that are, they can do the marketing for you. That's probably worth like millions on a show like this.
Yeah, if they're putting, let's see, I'm just trying to think of the format of the show. There was, I think, 8 contestants on there, and they have 10 shows, so that's 80 people. And if they all have Instagram followings of 10 to 100,000, you know, that ends up being
Millions
a lot.
of
Yeah,
people.
right.
Yeah. And it's a
And
somewhat
they're pumping-
engaged audience
and
too.
all these people are pumping out. Of course, I mean, if you're on a national television show, you're
it's-
going to be like, "Hey, look at me! Here I am on TV." You know, on
Mm-hmm.
I think it's a Netflix. Or no, wait,
It's
I
N-
watched it on Hulu. Yeah, it was
yeah,
on
I think it's
NBC.
NBC, I think,
yeah, it was
yeah.
on NBC. Yeah, you're right. But yeah, that's a good strategy, and that's definitely what they did. So one episode.
Okay,
has-
I didn't watch
okay,
it at all, so yeah, you got to explain it to me because they don't. Other than the promos being like the most extreme
Yeah.
obstacle course, I don't know what the hell I'm supposed to be watching here.
Yeah, it's so an episode is 4 women and 4 men, and the goal is to get to one Titan.
Like,
man.
do the women and men compete against
Nope.
each other?
No, okay,
So it
so-
is a different.
So
They are a
it's-
different pool.
Right. Yeah. So take the women. There's 4 of them. 2 of them go head to head in one of these smaller events, like one of the preliminary events. The other 2 to go to head to head in another preliminary event. I'd say there's about 5 different possible round 1 events, where one of them is like almost like a tug of war, where each person is pulling on a telephone pole, but you're on opposite sides of a big barrier. You can't see each other.
So you are actually competing against each other
Head
in
to
that case.
head.
But I mean, like you are resisting the other person in that
In
case.
that one,
Okay.
in that one you are. In some of the
It is just more of like
Yeah.
a time thing, or
Charity Witt, who is, we know she's competed in strongman and powerlifting and all that. Her event was picture a pyramid going up.
yep.
One competitor started on one side and one on the other, and it was like carrying a barbell on their back that was hooked, that had super long chains on each end of the barbell. So the farther they walked up the pyramid with the bar on their back, the more chain that was pulling off the ground. So it was like an accommodated resistance. So they had to walk
West
up
Side
this,
style.
Yeah, they had to walk up this 30-foot high pyramid, or 40, 50 foot high, at a fairly steep angle, and at every step they go, it's getting heavier because there's more chain. And it's like you're doing a yoke, except it's a super wobbly yoke because you're dragging a chain that's dangling, 20, 30 feet in the air.
Yeah.
And then when they get to the top, they have to do this crank to crank up this 100-pound weight. that gives you an idea for the different events. There's a lot of different events, but that's like what she did.
Okay.
But the events can really span a different range of strengths. I think
From like more like body weight things.
Yeah, like some you're hanging and climbing and jumping,
almost
and
like a Ninja Warrior
right,
kind of stuff.
Right, and some it's not as Ninja Warrior.
Oh yeah,
Ninja
but
Warrior,
I mean, it is more for
there's-
like free like body stuff. Like,
But I these people, the type of people that are going to be good at this are definitely going to be a little bit bigger and heavier than people that are going to do good
like-
at
like
American
more of a
Ninja
strength
Warrior.
athlete,
Yes,
yeah.
more of a strength athlete for sure. But it still does depend on the event a little bit, because you could draw a good event to match what you're good at and beat, I would say, what I would consider someone that's bigger and stronger.
Yep.
But so those 4 get whittled down to 2 winners, and then those 2 winners go head-to-head in Mount Olympus, I think it's called. So this is the big event. And
do you remember on the Nickelodeon show? What was the
Guts.
one? Guts. Was it the
Yeah.
Agro Craig?
Yeah, the Agro
Like
Craig, yeah.
it was like
Yeah.
the grown up Mount Olympus, or the
it's-
grown up Agro Craig.
It's very much like that, honestly. Except part of it is also coming down from but it's grueling. Like, these people get super gassed going through this. And there's a good mix of there is a decent amount of agility stuff in this thing, that where if you're just a big strong person, you're not going to fare very well. You know, you can't go in as Brian Shaw wouldn't do super well at it, I don't think.
Yep.
But someone that's a good mix in there, you do need quite a bit of speed and agility, I think, to do well, but you still do need to be kind of strong. And then the men do the same thing then, and it gets whittled down to 2 guys. So one of the men in there, I just had to look him up right now. His name's Anthony Furman, and I didn't know the guy or follow him, but he lists that he's the 105 kilogram world's strongest man. I don't know
Okay.
what year he won, but this dude was
So
was
the
strong.
real deal.
Yeah, then they showed his little promo video before, and he's got like an 850 deadlift, and you know, he's
Okay, yeah.
he's very strong,
Yeah.
and you know, probably 240 pound, very muscular strongman. You
Yep.
know, like,
is he still that size?
yes, he was
Okay.
big.
But I mean, like right now, even he's still like, he looks like he could be a strongman competitor.
Oh yeah,
Okay.
yeah. At least in not the world's strongest
Yes,
man, but
but-
in his weight class,
yes,
yes,
yep.
very, very competitive, and he apparently has won his weight class before. And I was like, damn, I'm curious to see how this guy does, because this is the guy that, you know, we can relate to on
Yeah.
some level. You know,
Yeah,
it's
for
like
sure.
I'd like to see him.
Oh, so he hasn't gone yet, though?
No,
Or-
he did go in this episode, and he won his initial event. He crushed it. It was an event that kind of being strong
Favor
was
him.
helpful, and the guy he was going against was, you know, he maybe weighed 200 pounds, but he's not the type of guy that this, you know, is very different, like at an extreme disadvantage
Yep.
to him in a strength type event. It was almost like a bus pull in a way, but it was hooked up to a pulley so that you were like ramming something up through concrete blocks. And this guy, you know,
yeah, it's just like, yeah, you're not
just
going to win
cruise
this
through
one.
it.
man.
No. But then when it came to Mount Olympus, he really struggled. He got super tired because it is, I don't know how long it takes him, maybe 5 minutes or plus to do this whole thing. And it's a lot of exertion the whole time. And there's a part where you have to like run up rollers that almost is like an American Ninja Warrior thing.
yeah.
And they're at a vertical incline up Mount Olympus. And he
That
struggled
really
with,
took him.
yes. And you could tell, I was like, yeah, that I wouldn't be able to do, you know, there's parts in there where you're like, yeah, I could do that pretty good. And then it's other parts where you're like, yeah.
Yeah, I'm out on that one.
And whereas the guy he was going against
That's where he
breezed
really
through
took off.
yeah. The one interesting part about Charity Witt, she is definitely bigger than the other competitors she was going against, stronger for sure. When it came to this, what you've seen the videos or pictures of before, dragging this, it looks like a giant Atlas stone. They bill it as 250 pounds. A lot of the women, you know, some of them were struggling to drag that along. She did. This is at towards the very end of the event, and it was about a tie going into that, and she just grabbed it with one arm.
Yeah,
and
just like almost like
walked.
walked it like it was nothing.
And
I'm actually shocked that it was 250 because she did make it look easier than that.
Right.
Like I got the impression she was really tired, but I wouldn't have guessed it was 250 from.
And I'm not sure about the weights that they're
Yeah.
listing on everything. It's like,
Oh, yeah,
push
it's-
over this 1,000-pound wall and
Yeah.
stuff. It's like, yeah, is it? Or
Maybe at some point.
But she did and you could tell like her being bigger and stronger in that portion really paid off because she could just grab it. But she was dead at the end of it.
Yeah.
You know, she's strong and what you consider fit and everything, and she was
Huffing and puffing.
yeah, she was dead. So was it good?
Yes, that's the most important part now.
There was so much video of these people.
Did
like,
they do the whole backstory
yes,
thing? Like,
and there was so much of it that
this
I
is
was
what-
like,
this is what I'm like. This is where I'm at with TV shows. Is I don't care about everyone's backstory.
Yes.
Like, I just want to know, is this person good or not?
And they
like,
did
if you
everyone's.
want to, like, at the end of the show, like, okay, this person's been fighting it out and grinding it out, and they're here, and now you want to educate me about how they got to this point? Okay,
Yeah.
they've earned it. But I don't need to hear, like, every dude's, like, 20-minute story about how this thing happened to
No.
their mom, and they grew up in a rough neighborhood, and they just always went to the gym to get them through it. And it's like, I'm probably saying people's stories right now. It's like,
they did everyone except I think one. I was like the one person that they didn't do. I was like, man, that guy got screwed. Like,
it's
they
like,
didn't,
yeah, why does everything need to be
Well,
just do the thing? Like,
the one guy that they didn't do that for was a dude that was missing one leg, and I was like, that's the guy that I want to know his story.
he actually has something like crazy happened to him. I mean, I would assume it's traumatic, but
I was like, this dude's jacked and has one leg. Like, I was like, that's the guy.
yeah.
But they go to like everyone at their job, and because that's kind of the thing of the show. It's every day.
Yeah, every day.
That was my other thing,
because
too.
everyone's relatable now, and everyone's just
Is everyday people, but to me, Anthony Furman isn't an everyday person. Like, he's like
No, yeah, you're not. And then also like, I mean, for the most part, once you hit like 40,000 Instagram followers, like, you're kind of not an everyday person in that respect either, because
Right.
you're probably getting compensated in some way for your
Yes.
social media presence, which that didn't exist 5 years ago. So that's a really weird thing too. Like,
yeah. So some of the people were to me more everyday, but some of the people I'm like, the people that are gonna win, really, I don't consider to be everyday. The guy that beat Anthony Furman in this Mount Olympus was, I don't know, he was also just jacked out of his gourd. Like,
Yeah.
I mean, like, just
so you're
enormous
saying
arms
when they
and-
get done with this thing, they're not having the guys do a drug test. Like,
they are not having the guys do a drug test. Not that I, whatever, but like, no.
But you're petitioning for a tested Titan
it
Games
is not
now.
a WADA.
It's not WADA compliant.
No. Quite positive of that. I'm not going out too far of a limb. But so was it good? Like, it was like 65% backstories and 35% action. So I did have a problem
record
with
the
that.
show,
Yeah.
fast forward past all of
Yeah.
it, actually watch a competition.
Yeah, and like there's a lot of The Rock like walking out to the crowd and people cheering.
Yeah.
It's like,
Well, yeah, I mean
Yeah.
that's why some people are watching the
Right.
show.
but to me, I was like, yeah, okay, like,
Yeah. You're too much of a purist, Tanner. Just
Yeah.
concerned about the sport of
Yeah.
things. Come on, man.
but some of it was cool.
Yeah.
And I did like seeing like Charity Witt and this Anthony Furman. I like seeing people that are actually involved in strength sports. It was cool to watch and see how they did in there.
Okay, so then final question. Will you watch the next episodes?
Probably. I kind of
Yeah.
want to see, I can't say that I'll watch all the episodes, but I can't.
You'll
So
keep tabs on it to
From
see
each
who's...
episode, there's a woman and a man that win Mount Olympus or whatever. At the end of it, they bring all the champions back and find
let them battle it out.
yeah, they just
Battle
fist fight. Yeah. But no, they find the ultimate whatever. Beastmaster is what I was going to say, but that's another show. Have you ever seen Ultimate Beastmaster?
Oh, it sounds like a made-up thing. to
No,
me.
that's a Netflix.
Really? Like the-
American. It's American Ninja Warrior. It is American Ninja
On
Warrior.
Netflix,
Yeah,
or-
it's only a different. Yeah,
Never
Ultimate
even heard of it.
Beastmaster. Yeah.
I gotta get with it here.
Yeah. But yeah, I'll probably watch some more of them. I want to see how some of the people that I recognize. I want to see how they do.
Plus, you love a good story,
Yes.
a good backstory.
Yeah. Ooh,
Keeps me
lots
coming
of
back.
backstories, lots of hardships that people have went through. Lots of, believe it or not, a lot of people have family members that have died.
I don't know if you know this, but we will all die at some point. So,
And I'm not, necessarily to make big
not
light
to
of that.
not to
but-
discount their situation, but
like,
it is a very natural part of life. You stick around long enough, that will happen to
Yeah.
you too.
There is quite a bit of that
I
stuff.
mean, the fashion that it happens in can be much more tragic
Yeah.
than some than others. But
What I'd like is for them to have someone on there that's like, yeah, nothing bad's ever really happened to me, and I don't do anything to help other people.
No, I want something that I'd be like, dude, I gotta be honest with you. Do you think I do a lot of other shit if I like work out this much? Like, I don't really volunteer with a lot of stuff.
I
not
don't
really-
really care about animals or people that are in need.
I'm not really much of a family guy because I'm selfish that I
I'm at
spend
the
all my
gym all
time
the
in the
time.
gym. So yeah, I don't really get along with my family. Don't really have any other hobbies, but here I am. Like I want that
I'm
guy
gonna
to
be
on.
pretty good at this contest,
Yeah,
though.
yeah. I don't really care about these other people. I kind of hope they do bad because I need this money. Like I want that guy to be in there.
Yes.
That's what I want to see.
No,
the
they won't.
real Titan games. Yeah.
Yep. No, that won't happen though.
I could get behind that show though.
Yeah.
Start it up. All right, let's check out Joe's backstory and then just immediately cut it off. We're not gonna waste your time with that bullshit here. Like,
Joe's kind of a dick. And he just plays video games a lot.
it was pretty apparent in the first 10 minutes of filming that Joe's a pretty awful person, but I guess we'll see how he does here.
Yeah.
Yes, I want that show. I
yep.
want that show.
Yep. So that's the Titan games in a nutshell. To be continued to see who the ultimate Grandmaster, Beastmaster, Warrior
Titan
champion
Destroyer.
is. Yes. At the end, you have to grab a relic out of you have to use your sledgehammer that's attached to that ball and smash through concrete to grab the relic,
Do you think
which is also a key to turn and unlock
Ooh.
to become the champion of Mount Olympus.
Do you think it has like any curses or anything on it?
It's actually a little bit of Guts meets Legends of the Hidden Temple.
It is.
Now that I think about it, it is Guts meets Legend of the Hidden Temple meets adults.
Yeah.
Like the blue barracudas
and
grew
unlike
up.
kids, and most importantly, unlike kids, adults have backstories, so you can exploit that so hard. Yeah, little Timmy got grounded last week. That's not a good backstory.
There it is.
Well, we're at an hour.
Oh, we might just have time for one segment then.
Okay.
America's fastest growing segment. I don't know if we can do a podcast episode without this segment anymore because people love overrated, underrated.
Ooh, we're bringing that one back?
I think we got to do overrated, underrated. Big lifts. I didn't have anything particular I was thinking about mentioning other than Julius Maddox benched 600 by 5 pause reps.
Oh,
Which that's
it's a respectable
not
bench
bad.
session.
That's not bad. Big lifts. Big lifts. I didn't have a YouTube comment of the week. So yeah, we're gonna go into underrated and overrated then. How's that sound?
Sounds like a plan.
Okay. So for those of you that haven't heard underrated or overrated, what it is, it's lightning round questions. Some of them are pop culture, mixed in with some lifting related topics. I asked these to Tommy, and he can either answer as briefly or in as much detail as he prefers. Does that's
very,
underrated,
very
overrated?
accurate.
Okay. So we've got 5 of them today.
Okay. So I only have like 10 minutes per question if we want to keep under the 2 hour
if you want to keep
mark.
it within 2.5, 3 hours.
Okay.
Yeah. Underrated or overrated? Dark chocolate.
Ooh, underrated. I like dark chocolate.
Yes, I love dark chocolate.
Yeah, it's just better in every way.
What would you have said 20 years ago?
Well, 20 years ago, I don't even know I had dark chocolate. I feel like that was one of those, like the evolution of sweets has really like stepped up in like the last 10 years here. But I don't even remember eating dark chocolate until I was like maybe in like high school.
Yeah.
I probably had it before that and I was like, bad.
Yeah.
But dark chocolate.
And not even
all the way.
like Hershey's, the dark chocolate ones, but like actual
Like
the
where
it's like called like 89% dark. Or
yes,
something like that.
or it's
Some of that is really
it says
good.
the cocoa level or
Yeah.
whatever is so high. That,
Yeah.
that's how you do it.
That is really good. Like I not that much of a sweets eater, but like if I had no self control, I could eat a lot of that and be
Yeah,
pretty
well, and
happy.
it's not so like everything. It's kind of the same thing with like LaCroix. Is like everything now is designed to be so sweet, like so like just in your taste buds that it's like, well, yeah, it's all the same. It's incredibly sweet. Like there's no nuances to it.
I'm glad you
Where,
mentioned LaCroix, just because this is a Massenomics podcast.
It has
episode
been
and
a little bit, right?
we-
But that's the whole thing. Is like it actually has like some nuances, like some flavor in
Yeah.
it besides
Right.
pure sweetness.
Yes, I agree. So dark chocolate.
It's the choice of a refined palate.
Yes, like we have. Look, give us a nice vintage LaCroix and a dark chocolate.
Oh, I'm in heaven.
We will sip on the LaCroix
maybe
and nibble
sitting
on
in
the
a
dark
warm bubble bath while I'm doing it. Candles around me.
and take an Instagram picture of your hot dog legs.
Hot dogs are legs.
Okay. Underrated or overrated? Gym mirrors.
Jimmy,
Mirrors in the gym.
very overrated. If you're just doing like a arm sesh or whatever, sure, mirrors. But I actually feel like it did make a difference in my lifting. Once got the frickin' mirrors out of your face when you're squatting.
When you're squatting and deadlifting.
I mean, deadlifting, that one's a little easier to control because you can a lot of times just turn in the other direction.
Yeah.
But when you're squatting, I remember thinking like, yeah, this is really heavy, but you just see your face and look, I look like I'm dying.
Yeah.
Like I think it's just
Yeah.
like a mental thing. Like it just accelerates the whole thing of like I'm in trouble.
Yeah. Yeah.
Where like once you get out of that, and then you start to go more into the feel of it too. Like there's
Yep.
a reason like they don't have weightlifters practicing
Right.
their lifts, these highly technical lifts in front of a mirror because like you got to get the feel of it down.
Yep.
And if you're always watching it, if it's always a visual thing, you never develop. I feel like the feel for these.
Yeah.
So yeah, mirrors are incredibly overrated.
I even like see what you think about this. Our racks, the way they're set up, there's usually kind of what I would say green grass in front of wherever you're facing, like it's
Yeah,
you're not stuck against a wall.
Yeah, we're not the closest sight line to a wall from a rack for us is probably 10 feet ish.
Yeah, and every once in a while I'll use our IPF squat stands, which is
Oh,
up
and that
against
does
the
face a wall, and it's
I'm
weird.
always kind of like, I don't like that wall. Like
Yeah.
it's kind of if you're looking, if
Once
you
you
pick
get
a
used
site
to it, it's like
yeah.
off-putting. But I
Yeah.
remember the first time I'd ever like stepped in front of the first competition we did was
Yeah.
the first time I'd
And
ever.
you're out on it feels like you're out on an island.
And there
then.
was like you to the crowd was like 30 feet. You really
Yeah.
were in the middle of nowhere, and that was like almost like you almost didn't have a reference point. Like you felt dizzy
especially
almost.
when you're used to looking in a mirror at that point.
Yeah,
in
it was
time,
that
like,
one was
yeah.
really weird.
Yeah.
And ever since like
And
we
now
got away
it's
from
pretty
that.
natural.
Yeah, it doesn't
Because
have
that's
that
the way we
same-
squat. Like you squat
Yep.
with an open area in front of you, just like that.
Yeah, it does take an adjustment.
I think most powerlifting-ish gyms are set up that way.
Yeah, I
Like,
think
don't-
they're pretty light on the mirrors. like,
Yeah.
it's- and even for that matter, I mean, even walls directly in front of your face. Like, I don't think that's super.
Right.
I think most people that are serious about it, or gyms that are
the
serious,
squatting
have
area is
embraced.
set up in a way that
Yeah, like
is
I mean, you're starting to see like
prioritized.
the platforms and the racks kind of become the centerpieces of gyms now.
Yes.
Where they are like showcased in the middle and look
Right.
really good and in a line. And so yeah, walls and mirrors, boo.
Yep. Okay. Underrated or overrated? Slippers.
Underrated.
Yeah.
Well, there's a lot of levels to this though. Are we talking slippers for warmth in the wintertime? Or are we talking slip-on shoes?
Not slip-on shoes, house slippers.
House slippers. Okay. Yeah. Live in an area where it's negative 20. House slippers are awesome.
Yeah.
And then in the wintertime when there's just always snow and wetness all the time, because wet socks are like the worst thing ever.
Yeah.
So you just having slippers on in the house completely takes care of the problem of wet socks and even cold feet most of the time too. And while I'm sitting here doing this, I have
slippers that look are those the
Minnetonkas.
Oh yeah, Minnetonka. Yeah, I've got a couple pairs of Minnetonka.
the dog has chewed up when
Yeah.
he was a puppy. He chewed up the back end of these. Still wear them. The that little decorative lace they put on the front that doesn't do anything.
What happens is that gets untied constantly.
Yep, and then I super glued it down, and then even after that, it came apart. And I'm like, okay, these don't do anything, so I just
Well,
cut
those
them
are like
out.
a rigid leather that doesn't stay in a knot.
It doesn't.
Yeah.
No, it does not at all. I remember I do like a triple knot on it, and like it's just like each knot would last one
Yeah.
day.
But I wear slippers at home all the time, pretty much, and
Yeah.
I think some people rag on that, like that they don't like that, and
I don't wear them out like side or in public or anything.
I do occasionally. Like,
I
to
don't
the
have an
gym or-
issue with it. I
yeah.
just don't like. To me, they are purely inside things.
Yeah.
But yeah, I should get a new pair. These are getting pretty. These are several years old,
Yeah.
and I'm sure they smell terrible.
So underrated though.
Underrated
is your
on the
official
slippers, yeah.
stance on the
Yeah, and
slippers.
I would give my approval to Minnetonka. I don't.
Yes.
I don't have that UGG money to throw around yet. So I
Minnetonka
can't-
is good, and you can get a good pair for like $30 probably, or maybe even less. I don't know, something
Yeah,
like
right
that.
around 30.
Yeah. Underrated or overrated? Overhead pressing for power lifters.
I I think it's underrated because no one does it.
Yeah.
Like, you don't really see powerlifters overhead pressing that much.
Right. There are certain guys that you see that do it.
Yeah,
Like
and I think
Brandon Allen, you always see him overhead pressing. Like, there's certain guys out there that
I don't know if it has huge carryover for
that's
sure.
kind of the question.
That,
then.
yeah, and that's if you said like overhead pressing for performance, I might say that might be overrated because I don't even know if it really does. Like, I don't think there's any connection between being the best bench presser in the world and overhead pressing or anything like that. But I do think it is a lift that a lot of people ignore.
Yeah. So
Underrated.
underrated, you would say? Okay. That's all. Ooh. No, wait, Jim Mears were overrated.
Yeah.
So you said, okay. Last one. Underrated or overrated? Extended warranties on electronics.
Oh, overrated. Like, yeah, they're just overrated. Like,
Do you ever purchase something and like what about like your computer? Like, is that even an option with Apple? Like your computer?
yes,
your phone,
and I feel like I'm going to screw myself over saying anything
yeah,
right now.
yeah.
But yes, with Apple, with your computer, if you buy a computer for $3,000, I think by default Apple has. I think for sure it's a full 90-day warranty of like complete coverage, and then like a year of Apple Care or like Apple support, like where they'll kind of like look at things. I don't really know what that entails, but if you want to pay like another $300, I can't remember if it's 3 years. I think it's 3 years of like pretty much anything that happens to your computer, it's covered for like $100 deductible.
Gotcha.
But I didn't do it because I tend to be very careful with my things, and that is also one of the benefits of Apple stuff is that it tends to be built rock solid, so it's not really an issue. Same thing with your phone though. Like, I don't buy warranties on my phone.
No, I don't.
Because it's like, okay, I can spend $300 on a warranty and then another $150 on a claim.
Or
and
just
now it's
kind of
like
do your best to treat it good.
You know,
and
it's
then
like now I'm like almost $500 in. Like, what's? So I don't do that whole thing. But and then like minor, like if it's less than $100, are you gonna buy a warranty on anything for less than $100?
That's like at Walmart. They ask.
Oh yeah,
you
they
if
all
you
push
buy
it for
like a $20.
Yeah, it's like, would you like to spend the extra $2 for a warranty?
No, I'll just
like,
bring it back to you if it's
yeah,
broken. First of all,
if it's really that shitty, I just will never buy one of these again.
Yeah.
Like, I don't want another one in my life. It sucks that bad. But I'm not a warranty guy. No.
Yeah, me either.
But
But sometimes you think twice. Like
I'm also a cheap guy though, so
Yeah.
that probably trumps everything
Yeah.
in this situation.
Yeah, they're not offering that product for them to lose money though.
Oh no, well it's just a
So
numbers
then,
game. Like,
in
how
that
many
case,
people are like, few bucks, whatever.
Yeah.
And even if it broke, you're probably like, I don't even remember if I bought a warranty.
Well,
on
and
this
then
thing.
the other issue is, does it actually cover what you need it to cover when it comes up? Because a lot of times it seems like it doesn't.
Yeah, and that's if you read around, like a lot of people say this stuff is like, well, the warranty actually, it has to fit like what their reason is of failure. And then even then it's like the warranty might just be for another like refurbished model, which it's like, okay, a refurbished model of an electronic, like for the most part electronics, their price instantly cuts in half the next year.
Yeah.
So it's like, okay, so you're giving me a brand new used one? Like, it's not really an equal. I didn't really get my money back on that either. So most times I would say it's not worth it.
Okay.
And I would say it's incredibly overrated.
Overrated. All right. That wraps up underrated, overrated for another week. Until next week.
Woo.
What do we need you to do? YouTube, Facebook, you know about those things. Like and subscribe. Apple Podcasts, the review. We need to hit that 100. Our store. This is all. We kind of saved this for last, but this is the most important thing. Going to our store and supporting us. If you like to hear these fine podcast publications, you can ensure that we stay on air by supporting us through your monetary pledges. By purchasing shirts, hats, flex class banners, shorts, lift shorts. Our shirts, we've really in the last 6 months have expanded our line of shirts. Mm-hmm. If you think all we've got is that lift shirt, and you already have 3 of them,
sorely mistaken.
Yeah, we have more than the lift shirt now. We've got our bench heavy shirt, big pecs cash checks, our Yeah Buddy lightweight shirt, and then our new Massenomics shirts.
Yeah.
Black on black, white on red.
And we also have sweatshirts.
Yeah.
Man, is it a good time of year to be buying sweatshirts.
That's true. The lift sweatshirt in the crew neck, the 2 hoodies, the bench heavy hoodie, and the camo Eagle hoodie that I'm wearing right now.
Cannot go wrong with any of those.
No, they're great. We own basically all that stuff. We were actually
Like
just talking about it, that we don't really have any room to own any more Massenomics stuff
It's
ourselves.
really pointless for me to step foot in the mall because I can't buy clothes because there's literally nowhere for them to go.
Yeah, that is very true.
If only we made shoes.
That's true. We can just about have an entire outfit on.
I did finish reading Shoe Dog, the Nike book,
yeah.
so I kind of do know the ins and outs of striking a deal with the Far East.
I've got a waffle iron.
Oh, okay. Well, call me Bill Bowerman because we're in business here.
Yes. So stay tuned next episode for our shoe release. That'll be in episode 146. I think that's about it. Instagram handle.
Instagram, you can find me at Tomahawk_D.
And make sure to follow the official Massenomics Instagram to catch your Massenomics versus, lifting legends, rookie cards, all of that stuff at Massenomics. And we will see you next time.
Later.
You just heard the Massenomics podcast. With your ears. You're welcome. Check us out on Facebook, find us on Instagram at Massenomics, and make sure you visit Massenomics.com and buy some of that sweet Massenomics gear. From your friends at Massenomics Studio, home of the world's strongest podcast, stay strong.